What is up, everybody? You're very welcome along to this week's Cop the Week. Slight change in personnel. We've thought we need more hair. We need more hair. We need more youthful exuberance. So out goes Mr. Steve Bland, who's actually away with his family this week. And in comes Mr. Chris Stonage from LFC Transfer Room. Chris, looking fresh-faced, my man. How are you?
I know. I'm no longer looking like Fabio Borini this week. I won't be any comparison.
That's hilarious. That. Do you know what? Whenever someone mentions Fabio Borini, it literally makes me think, who was it that said it? It was like, it might have been Danny Ings or someone. But you know, like them Christmas videos where you've got to give each other presents, like them Santa wish videos. Someone was like, Fabio Borini in the video, just kept calling him Borini. Like, that's the only thing that relates to it. But Borini's time at Liverpool, that's hilarious, that, Chris.
Yeah, mate, honestly, I got James Maddison, Jack Grealish earlier I got. But
I reckon
now,
you're a mixture of Grealish and Mason Mount, you know, with the new trim as well.
Cheeky little Mason Mount, mate. Can't go wrong.
And that other youthful, exuberant voice you can hear is that, of course, of Mr. James Redmond. James, 5-0, sir. 5-0, pal. You know what I mean?
What's up, my brothers? Hey, yo, high five. Hey, high five. Hey, lad. I'm so happy, lads. Honestly, I swear to God, yeah. Like, I was asking a question to loads of people, so I'll propose it to both of yous. What was the better game? Ronaldo's game yesterday where we beat them 5-0, or his last game when we beat them 4-1 at Old Trafford before he joined Real Madrid? What felt more? Because they were good then and we smashed them there. But yesterday was literally like, Paul Scholes sucks his daughter's toes. Paul Scholes, whoever made that up.
That's all kinds of wrong, by the way.
Yeah. But the tune's brilliant.
How is that the second most embarrassing thing to come out of Manchester this weekend?
It's got to be yesterday, though, James. It's got to be yesterday. And let me tell you for why. Because Mohamed Salah went there, mate, and bagged the hat-trick. So it felt like a changing of the guard moment. Do you know what I mean? You're gaff, and we're going to piss all over it. We're going to bag a hat-trick, and we're going to go out, and we're going to do the job. I loved it. Every minute of it.
Stole his crown. He just stole Ronaldo's crown. He was like, listen, I'm the king now, motherfucker. Like, you've had a great career. And maybe when people look in hindsight, my career won't match up to yours. That being said, in this moment of time, I am better than you. In your face. Jason is fuming.
I feel it, though. Do you know what I mean? That's the attitude. That's the energy I'd be bringing. If this was the other way around, I'd be like, screw every single one of you.
I wouldn't even be watching this stream, so Jason's got more balls than me. Speaking of balls, Craig.
Speaking of balls, you've done it again, sir. You have done it again. I love it. Speaking of balls, speaking of the balls that were made yesterday, your balls are very important, ladies and gentlemen. And the only way to make sure that you can look out for your balls is getting over to manscaped.com. Put in our discount code WFM20 to get 20% off and free shipping of the Performance Package 4.0. Now, James, a young man like yourself, a metrosexual, shall we say, somebody who's out and about there, sir, doing bits.
Yes.
The ladies, you got to look after down below, dude. You got to do it.
Definitely. Couldn't agree more, Craig. Couldn't agree more. Listen, if you don't take care of downstairs, then really are you a gentleman? That's the question that you've got to propose to the table. And just like the way I am the delivery driver for how I delivered that, why are Manscaped the postman? Because they always deliver and they will be at your service just by clicking the link in the description.
There you go. WFM20, 20% off and free shipping. Chris, you look like a man who's well groomed. Certainly facially you're well groomed. Manscaped for you, sir?
Oh, absolutely. It's getting ordered. I've already just ordered it to ship. So when Movember comes along, you know, I keep it all nice and
keep it all nice.
There you go. And look, you do want to get in early, ladies and gents, because they have special offers on. They've got sales on. The good news is the discount code works on that. And again, treat somebody in your life. That bit of Christmas present early, or as our friend Chris said, Movember coming up as well. Well, maybe downstairs they want to grow a Mickey Mo.
Hey, listen, the Mo Salah thing could be the style right now, but except Mo Salah's hairdo, even though it might be a bit much, it's still treated with perfection, and you need to treat your balls with perfection, not affection. But yeah,
you can do this. You can do both, James. You know what I mean? You can treat them with affection as well.
Why not? Why friggin' not, mate? You need to love your balls, don't you, boys?
Brian sent us in a super chat, and what he wants to know, he missed the comment originally, but I seen it underneath. He just wants to know: has anybody heard any updates on Naby?
Nope.
And I'm devoted because, lads, I think it's going to be a bit serious. My man went out on a stretcher. Usually that does not end well.
Oh, let me just say, lads, I mean, with loads of incidents to talk about yesterday, but I got to keep banging the drum on this. That was scumbag behaviour from Pogba, that challenge. There's no accident. I look at Griezmann's high foot, I think accident. Fred, accident. Ronaldo, petulance. But Pogba, James, he left the ground, dude. He came off the ground 2-footed to go into that challenge. It was sick, disgusting.
You could see that challenge was no hate towards Naby Keita. I do not condone that challenge. It was wrong and it was stupid. And like you said, it was both feet off the ground. People were trying to say he got the ball. It's like, no, you don't lunge into a challenge like that because what happens can happen. That being said, that challenge felt to me like it was just someone who was tired of the circumstances of the football club that he plays at. He never started the game, and on top of that, he came on frustrated. Do you remember when Steven Gerrard came on frustrated when we lost? I think it was 2-0, 3-0 when they came to Anfield, and I think it was under Louis van Gaal, and he just was rattled. You could see and he stamped on Ander Herrera. It kind of felt like that. It just felt like someone who was frustrated and they acted recklessly, and obviously we had to pay the price because Naby Keita was doing shit, the boys, you know what I'm saying? Like, Naby Keita started playing heavy, and he was amazing in the game. He was intercepting passes, he was starting attacks, and he was putting goals away, and he was creating goals. That's stuff that you love to see, and that's what you want. Because one thing that we talk about from our midfield as well, boys, and let me know if you disagree, what's the number one complaint been over last season when we weren't getting goals? It was the fact that midfield does not create enough. We do not get enough goals out of the midfield. So whether Naby is a starter or not, we know that he can get goals from the midfield. He's proven it over the course. Remember that goal against Chelsea when we beat them, I think it was 5-3. He scored 2 amazing goals this season. And then even that finish against Manchester United was top class. So I'm devastated that he won't be able to build on top of that momentum because he's been amazing.
He has. Look, Chris, you've got the referee's hat on, of course. You were a goat. You were Dermot Gallagher, mate. So we're going to come to you on this one. All the major incidents, let's talk about them one by one. Ronaldo, let's start with that one. I mean, Dermot Gallagher on Sky today said that Ronaldo was lucky that the ball was where it was. But I think, that was the expression of frustration. And I don't think it was a red. I think an orange is probably the term I'd go with. But I loved to see him getting that frustrated, but obviously didn't love to see. If you notice where the ball was placed, mate, it was in that manscape type area. Let's put it that way. So what's your take on it, Chris, as a referee?
If it were me, I completely agree with Dermot Gallagher. I know referees all love to agree with each other. It's all one big union. But Dermot Gallagher got that right. I think if the ball's not there, if he kicks Jones, isn't it just funny, by the way, Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the greatest players to ever set foot on a football pitch, got rattled by Curtis fucking Jones.
How rattled by a Scouse teenager, lads. You got rattled by a Scouse teenager. What a muppet.
and he was getting done in by Andy Robertson. Andy Robertson was coming over and like a head teacher. He was like, nah, mate, you can't be doing it.
Oh, when Verge came over, that was fucking priceless. He couldn't back away quick enough.
But yeah, no, not a red card for me. If he actually kicks Jones and he's lucky that he didn't, it's a red. But nah, yeah.
You could see James that Ronaldo realised after the second kick and he just walked away straight away. He knew, shit, hang on a minute, I can't keep going here. This is going to end up with me getting a red. And you don't want to see Jones getting hurt, James, but it's great to see Ronaldo losing the shit like that.
Absolutely, it is. It's hilarious as fuck. Like I said, he was rattled in that game, but I have to disagree with you boys. I do think it was a red. There was nothing but intent to hurt the player in that situation. I don't care if the ball was actually there. You've literally gone for a second kick. And again, the way they fell to the ground, usually, like if you watch a lot of La Liga games where the competition isn't quite as high, and players who bring down Ronaldo and Messi, you can see Messi and Ronaldo getting pissed off because there was just no, besides actually intending to bring you down and foul you, there was no reason for them to bring them down. There was no reason for Ronaldo, who committed a foul anyway and then follows up with a kick. That for me is a red card offence, and I think because it was Ronaldo, people can say I'm wrong and feel free, but I think that's why he never got a red card. I think they were more lenient with the decision.
Two things for me on this that kind of, I suppose, play into my stance that I think it was very close to red, but not a red. One was the whistle. I don't think the whistle went as early as we as fans maybe think it went. And secondly, what was the other reason that I don't think it was a red card? Curtis Jones' reaction. I thought Curtis Jones did Ronaldo a favour. He could have made a lot more of that.
So, Craig, you don't think he has a right to react like that when you've just been volleyed on the ground?
Oh, I mean, in a good way. Jones did Ronaldo a favour. Jones could have rolled around the ground, Curtis Jones could have made a meal of that. You know,
Yeah,
if that
no,
was
100%,
Bruno
I agree.
Fernandes that got kicked.
What if the shoe's on the other foot there? What if Curtis Jones kicks Ronaldo? Isn't that a red card? Is he getting special
I think it would
treatment
be. I think
because
it would
he is
be.
Ronaldo, maybe?
Yes,
I think
that's
it's a fair comment.
I think there's substance. I think there's substance to that argument, because you've got to think of it as, you know, why is this game so huge? Well, one, because it's Manchester United, Liverpool, but it is also because of the lore around Cristiano Ronaldo being in the Premier League again, and that's why these type of games get so many eyes drawn to them. Same with Messi at PSG, and I'm not saying they'll never send off Ronaldo, but let's say if it's on a knife edge decision like that, they're never gonna lean to the way that they will for probably some other players. Like, if that's Curtis Jones, I think it's still a close decision on what you can choose, whether it's a yellow or a red. But in some cases, I think Curtis Jones would get a red, and Cristiano Ronaldo, in most cases, if not every case, would get a yellow. But that is
Before
just
we
me. I
move
could be
on,
biased.
here's a super chat that talks about the midfield. Thank you for the super chat, dude. It's a great win yesterday. I'm getting a little bit concerned our midfield's getting thin with the amount of injuries. Surely we bring in somebody in the January window. It's tough, this one, gents, because, you know, when I listed off the midfielders in my own head at the start of the season, I'm thinking 7 or 8 there should be enough to cover, but I don't think we do business in January, James. I don't. I'll be honest with you, mate. I don't think unless a serious injury comes up, Klopp goes into the market, because I think he has his players pinned and ready for the summer.
I couldn't agree more. I think Klopp would maybe take a midfielder, not like willingly. He's not going to go and bang the door down and be like, get me a midfielder. Because again, we need to take into circumstances about these injuries. How long are they actually for? Like, how long is Thiago? Because Liverpool don't like sharing that information. But do we need to buy a midfielder? Yes, and I feel like this only strengthens my argument that I was proposing in the summer, that Gini Wijnaldum just should have never been let go. Like, I know that he might have wanted bigger wages and stuff like that, but for one of the most reliable midfielders in the team, one of the most important players to the team, and on top of that, someone who delivers every single week. And I understand some performances may have dropped below, but he was always there and he was a reliable option in these situations and in games like the Preston game that's coming up where you need to rotate. Options are looking very, very, very dim, and you've got to think about the options we went into the season with. Thiago, who's been known to have his fair share of injuries. Oxlade-Chamberlain, don't need to say nothing there. Naby Keita, don't need to say nothing there. People don't talk about it enough, but even Henderson does tend to have, kind of like Harry Kane, he'll have like 2 months of the season where he's usually out. The fact that we ignore these things, and even though it's not always as black and white as that, but I just think we've ignored that. We've let go of one of our most reliable players. We've got a 36-year or 35-year-old James Milner. We just haven't really thought it through, and I think that's the one problem from Liverpool. The decision-making in the midfield area wasn't thought out enough for me, and I don't think it'll be changed in January.
Chris, looking at it, right? Milner, we don't know how long he'll be out for. Keita, we don't know how long he'll be out for. Elliott, hopefully have him back after Christmas at some point. Look, it is easy in hindsight to have 2020 vision, but if in any circumstance, mate, we should have been warned last year that you have to plan for the unplannable.
Oh, I know, but then if you say that, then you would have squads of 50 in the Premier League. I'm going to take it back to an earlier point from James. He said, you never know. We're getting goals from midfield now. We're actually getting goal contributions. I think Gini Wijnaldum was a massive factor in that not happening. It just wasn't his game at the end of the day, and it was a workhorse midfield. I think it was the right time to let him go personally, and I think the right time for him to leave. If we're going to evolve into a new team, I think we need to have these goals from midfield, and having the like of Keita, Elliott, and others there to contribute, and Curtis Jones as well. I think that Wijnaldum holds that back for me. However, I think as you mentioned, Craig, going into this season, midfield's our strongest position of depth. Like, there is 8 or 9 players, but I also agree with James that not a lot of them are injured. So, plan for the unplannable, yes, but also, take some logic into it, because don't forget, the Reds have got no money.
Chris, you know what? Nah, you've got a good point there, Chris, with the last point about how we don't have no dough. But you're right, Craig, we will still win the league. But there's just 2 things that I want to call you out on there, Chris. And the first thing is, I think, Gini Wijnaldum's days at Liverpool, I don't think he was numbered. I think people have this conception that he was always going to play. I don't think he would have. I think if Harvey Elliott was fit, I think if Thiago was fit, they'd probably play about Gini Wijnaldum. Liverpool need to take into consideration that we don't have a 50-man squad. We have a very, very dim, very thin squad compared to others, especially in the league. You see Manchester United signing Juan Mata on an extra year extension and other players like that. I'm not saying go ahead and throw everything in the kitchen sink at Gini Wijnaldum and his wages, but just for moments like right now, which we've had tendencies to have midfield problems before, Gini Wijnaldum would be massive for our team because he's more reliable than a James Milner to fill. Because the games that Gini was playing last season, when again we had loads of injuries, no Fabinho, that's another injury that we haven't even mentioned, by the way. Like, Fabinho's injured, boys. Like, I just think to myself, Gini would be perfect. Let me tell you why. Because he can adapt to many different roles. You say he can't score goals. I think if you give him the freedom to go out and express himself, he can score goals. Because I think he's proven that for the Netherlands. So that's the only thing I want to call you out on. I'm not saying you're wrong for saying that it was the right time for him to go. Because again, wages was a big factor. But I feel like the proof is in the pudding with the circumstances right now.
It does feel a little bit unfortunate, doesn't it, that the one midfielder whose contract ran down is the bulletproof midfielder with regards to how many games he's available for the manager. He was one of Klopp's trusted lieutenants. But while we're on midfielders, I want to bring up this super chat from Akash. Said, food for thought, Pogba signed 89 million, Man United's biggest flop of all time, in my opinion. Nice to see Jota on the stream today. But on that, gents, on Pogba, it's twice. This is what I have to say. They let him go for, I think, $500,000 or whatever it was to Juventus. And then they go and buy him back at 89 million. And to me, it seems like one or two things, Chris. Either Solskjaer doesn't have a plan of how to use him, or he doesn't like him. He doesn't think that he brings harmony to the dressing room. And either way, mate, it is a lot of player and a lot of money to not have on form. And I think Klopp goes in there, Guardiola goes in there, Pochettino goes in there, Allegri at Juventus, they will at least try and get Pogba on side to get him playing because, looking at the midfield yesterday, man, I'd seen fucking McTominay and Fred. It was like Christmas.
Honestly, mate. But I think you said the point as soon as you said it. Like, Ollie doesn't have a plan. I mean, he's got Jadon Sancho on the bench, who was one of the top contributors in Europe last season. Donny van der Beek. I mean, he was the catalyst for Ajax getting to the Champions League semi-final. Ajax in 2020. In 2019. Like, it's crazy. The man's got no facilities. He just doesn't have it. He does have no facilities, big man. And
no facilities, big man. You do not have the facilities for that, big man. I see that, Chris.
Yeah. But yeah, honestly, he doesn't have the capability. It's like if you put me in charge of him, like, yeah, you can get some quality from individuality.
See, Chris, I think you'd at least have a system if you were in charge. Yeah, I think you'd at least have a system.
Right. I have won the Champions League with Milton Keynes Dons on Football Manager. I back myself, all right, in comparison. Look, that is about as big of an achievement as
that's a huge achievement. Craig, I don't know how much you've played Football Manager, but that's a huge achievement. Huge.
It's been quite a year since I've played it. It's been a long time, lads. But look at this from Solskjaer's perspective. My information, and I'm not trying to make out like I've a lot of information here, but from my United supporting mates, I hear he's getting the bullet, and I don't know if it'll be announced tonight. It might be tomorrow because, and this is the unsexy side of football, because of the stock exchange and the shareholders and the announcements and the share value and all that stuff. I've seen a few things to say that maybe they're penny pinching with regards to redundancies, which I think is hilarious when you've seen them bring in Ronaldo, you've seen them bring in Jadon Sancho. If they're penny pinching over this, it's a bad look. But what I would say, lads, I suppose this is the point I'm making. I can look at Guardiola, James, I see a style of football. I look at Klopp, and you heard the lads of Match of the Day last night, right? He's saying that these players are coached to perfection by Jurgen Klopp. I've never understood what it was Solskjaer was trying to do. I've never gotten it, mate, other than empty his bench of attackers. I don't see a plan. I've never seen a plan.
Even under Jose Mourinho, I kind of saw what he was trying to do. Never worked and I never agreed with it, but I saw what he was trying to do. Louis van Gaal, again, same very, very similar situation. Probably didn't agree with everything that he chose to do, but I could understand it. He wanted to play good football. He just never had quite the players to do it. It's like Pep Guardiola. It's like, if you want me to play my style of football, I cannot do it with average ballers. I need everyone to be able to do 5-star skill moves and flicks and shit. Because Pep Guardiola has said he knows how to make that work. He doesn't know how to make players like, again, Henderson technically has become a much better player, but I don't think under Pep Guardiola he'd probably even give him a chance because technically he's not on the level of certain other midfielders. Whereas Jurgen Klopp, he sees certain attributes in players that just managers like Pep Guardiola doesn't see. Attributes that in the games where probably moments you don't expect for players like Henderson are more useful than anyone. The way he's a utility man and the way that Klopp utilises him as a utility man. It's like, you might not be world class at any one thing, but you're very, very decent at everything. So I'm going to make that work and I'm going to make you boss. And Jurgen Klopp does that with everyone. Andrew Robertson, good left back at Hull, but it was like the attributes and the energy that you possess, I am going to bring that to my team. And that's going to be a huge factor for the way that I play. It's about knowing and being able to read situations. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer couldn't read a kid's book with nothing but pictures in it, with the way that I've seen him conduct the choir at Manchester United in this time. Paul Pogba, one of the greatest, I'd say, top 3 or 5 passes in the world. In terms of dribbling out of midfielders, I think he's easily top 3 in the world. His ball control, in terms of the technical ability, best believe Paul Pogba is one of the elite midfielders in world football right now. There's very few who can talk to his technical ability. Now, there is sides where I think he could do more in games for United, even if he doesn't like the manager. I wouldn't want someone like that playing for my club, with all due respect. But I also understand the frustrations because he's being played week in, week out as a CDM instead of a more free-flowing, more advanced number 8 type player, someone who's a little bit more free in the midfield. When you're seeing players like McTominay start next to you, you're not a defensive player, and you're seeing someone like McTominay start next to you, who also is not very good defensively. I can understand the frustrations, and last point to the super chat, because I want to give it respect. He spent money, big up your damn self, and we appreciate any super chats that come in. I think Harry Maguire was the biggest flop in Manchester United's history. He was.
I'm all over it. Sign me up, Redmond. Sign me up for that shit. Look at this. Look, if I was to say to you, Chris, that Harry Maguire and Ibrahima Konate, you come into football blind, never watched the game in your life. One of these lads is a world record breaking defender, and the other one was 34 million quid on a bargain. You're gonna look at Konate and go, well, he's got to be the 80 million quid defender.
I think Maguire is a good defender. I'm going to say this now.
He's a good, solid Premier League defender, but he's not.
He's mid-table.
Lewis Dunk is better than Maguire in my humble opinion. I just
now I can agree with that.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Yeah, it's like going and splurging £80 million on this generation's Ryan Shawcross. Like, why would you do that sort of thing? He's good. He's okay. He's solid. But you saw he's been rushed back. He's been
put on this
pedestal of being Manchester United's captain in a team full of egos, and a team which has Ronaldo, Cavani, Bruno Fernandes even in it, and Harry Maguire is the one doing the team talks. Like, this is just crazy. But yeah, Konate was fat. It won't get talked about enough, and I don't think it has been. But Konate's selection yesterday to deal with Rashford was inspired from Jurgen. Actually, I really, really, really like that. Top level.
We've spoken about the Manx too much here, James. Let's get on to the sexy shit. Let's start with what Chris said. The team selection there. I have to say, I was shocked when I seen Konate in there. It actually took somebody in our live chat to point out to me the reasoning why he was probably in there. As Chris said, probably exactly that. But my God, mate, let's start from back to front. Ali had very little to do, but what he was asked to do was great. And the back four, mate, they look like a well-oiled machine. We go through the team, but just on the back four as a start.
Besides the first chance that Bruno Fernandes got early on in the game, and maybe Ronaldo's goal, which I actually give them a lot of credit for because he was offside, which means you've done your job as a defence, I could not really point out a flaw in either none of the defense's game, but Konate's side was busier, which is why you've got to admire that performance more. I thought he was the best of the two centre-backs. He kind of reminded me like a French Nathaniel Deeney Van Phillips with pace, and it was boss. Because he was heading everything out of the box like a throw a comment into the Old Trafford, he's going whoosh right out, heading that fucker right out. I love Konate because he's got the energy to play for Liverpool. He's got the drive. He sees players like Virgil van Dijk and Joel Matip. Top class centre backs, by the way. He's improving game by game. His reading of the game will only improve. He's playing underneath a manager that's only going to make him better. I don't see how this signing doesn't work out. And of course, there's these tendencies where good players don't end up working out because of, touch wood, injuries or whatever it could be. But Konate, based on ability and based off what I've seen, and do you know why I admire the decision from Klopp? He shows me a lot why I know fuck all about football in comparison to that man. Because I didn't realise either. I was thinking, Joe Matip's been the best centre-back this season, at least in my opinion, and he's not starting this game. I know he's had tendencies to get injuries before, but overall he's been boss. How do you drop him in what is one of the biggest games of the season against your biggest rivals? And then I realised Rashford's playing, and Rashford has 4 goals in his last 3 games against us. What does Rashford possess? A lot of pace. So Trent, who's also had tendencies to maybe make a mistake or two at the back this season, has been flawless, but you're going to want someone with pace to cover your man, don't you? And Konate has got the most pace out of all of our centre-backs, and it was just such a smart decision, and obviously he sees more in training than we do, so Konate must be doing the bits.
I want to echo what James has said. I like to think, I've been around the game 32 years now. I like to think I know football, but when I hear Pep Lijnders speaking or when I see these insightful decisions and the reasoning behind them, I have to just admit, yeah, I'm an armchair fan. It is what it is. These 32 years have been wasted, Chris, because one thing we know about Kloppo is, and we give him credit for it, but then I still doubt him occasionally because I'm an idiot. He knows when to put people in. He knows when to drop them into the starting 11. Unlike Sancho sitting on a bench at United, where I don't think there's a plan, Klopp was obviously going to be working with Ibrahima Konate to get him up to speed, and then he drops him in and he does that. Perfect.
Oh, man. I mean, when you see it with new signings, isn't it? Fabinho is probably the prime one. He looked awful when he first came. Like, the first month or so, he was there. He didn't play a game until the October. And then all of a sudden, he's now the best defensive midfielder in the world. Robertson's another one, worked into it. Alberto Moreno was starting ahead of him, boys. Can we get that? That's another one I've been compared to, by the way, Alberto Moreno today.
I take that as an insult, if I was you. Everything else compliment. I take that one as an insult.
But yeah, and Konate will be the same. And there's been very rarely that a player's just gone in. Virgil, probably, Mane and Salah are probably the only 3 that have gone in straight away, and Alisson as well, have gone in straight away and suited the way that we play. It's just the way Jurgen Klopp does it, as you mentioned, it's just like he's a genius. It's a genius. And you wouldn't have thought that Manchester United away would be a bedding in game for Ibu Konate, but apparently so.
Apparently so. And look, we move into the midfield now, James. And I think, again, another one that will go unrated yesterday or underrated is Henderson's performance in midfield. Because obviously we're lauding Keita. He was brilliant. Obviously, yes. We're talking about Milner's professionalism and all, but the energy that this man brings. And I don't know if you've seen the Ben Foster video that he put out where he's speaking about what Mohamed Salah was saying to him. But he was just talking about, as a goalkeeper, seeing Jordan Henderson on the pitch, he never shut up giving instructions. He never shut up talking, and he is our manager on the pitch.
Where do you start with what is the most gorgeous specimen of a human being that could wear the armbands in the Premier League, and not only the Premier League, but in the universe, and also just a fucking world-class player? I don't give a I've just said it then. He's not world-class at any one thing. He's not a world-class passer. He's a very good passer, but he's not a world-class passer. He's not a world-class shooter, but he's a good shooter. But he's got a great reading of the game. And I'll tell you now, underneath a manager like Jurgen Klopp, and that combination of brains is insane. Because Jordan Henderson already had brains. You saw glimpses of it in 13-14, that there's a player there for sure. It's just about unlocking that player and finding the right role in the team. Bear in mind, he's playing in the number 6 in the most recent games. In this one as well, where he has to fill in for Fabinho. I think Henderson's best performances have came from the right-hand side of the midfield, where he can fill in for Trent, but also have the licence to go forward. When you're watching him now, he can play in any of those roles. It's a reason why he stepped into centre-back and done a very good job last season, because he can read the game very, very well, and he's decent at everything. The way he puts that together, and you look at Henderson, where he was when he was 24, and you look at where he is now, from when he first joined Liverpool to the player that he is now, it's night and day, a different player. Once upon a time, you would have saw me not really be a big fan of Jordan Henderson. Didn't think he brought much to the game. Thought he actually affected us with how negative of a player he was. I didn't think he passed the ball offensively enough as I wanted to see from my midfielder, and then he changes that, and people don't realise, maybe the ability only goes so good. But this, if you are open-minded to getting better, just like us as content creators, we're open-minded to getting better, learning things off each other. that is what makes you a great player. And there's a reason why someone like Paul Pogba, with the ability he's got, not being able to do week in, week out what Henderson can do with the ability that Henderson's got. And it's because of mentality, and Henderson is just amazing for that reason and stepped up in a fucking big game. And you want to see your captain in any game screaming for the full 90 minutes, but Henderson doesn't just do it with no discipline. There's actually some, he's like, right, you get in your position. He's telling people where to be, so he's just perfect in every aspect.
Preach, brother, preach. That's all I can say. I'm sitting here going, amen, amen, amen to everything.
Hallelujah, Jesus.
He's also such a fucking top bloke, isn't he? Like, I'd love to
go. Isn't it? He's my captain. He's your captain. He's everybody's fucking captain.
He's captain, fantastic, lad.
You say that, mate. That facial expression from you, James, is still kind of dodgy, bro.
That had vinegar strokes written all over
it. And it's only Henderson that could make me pull them faces, and that's fine. That is,
you know
fine.
What, lad? I want to use a phrase that I have to give credit to Samara Hunter from La Liga TV. She said that United were liver schooled, and I just thought that was fucking brilliant. Liver schooled. We absolutely destroyed them on their own patch.
She should honestly really please someone save her a place in heaven, because she isn't. It did say it was a she, he, don't care.
Yeah,
21st century baby. But it could be either. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Save them a place in heaven. That's amazing. Or neither. Could be a cheer.
Absolutely brilliant. And look, Chris, in the midfield yesterday, that felt like it was going to be Naby Keita's emergence. It felt like this is it. He's had the bit of the iffy time with the games in Madrid. We've seen glimpses of what he can do. But again, I want to just talk about that shithouse Pogba and that challenge. That does my head in. Refereeing decision. I can understand why Anthony Taylor, from his angle, went for the yellow. I get it. And I was critical all week of this refereeing appointment. I was talking to you about it. I was talking about Atwell and VAR. I want to give credit, because Atwell said to him, go have a look at it, mate. He went and had a look at it in a very, maybe it wasn't as difficult as it could have been because the game wasn't in the balance, but right decision and very dangerous challenge. Anyone who's played the game will know what he was at.
That's exactly what VAR is there for. Like, maybe the referee, was erring on the side of caution with it. But yeah, that is the perfect advert for VAR. The right decision came to at the end. It didn't take long. I'm really, really, really happy with that. And it has done for us this season. It has done for the majority. I've really enjoyed the usage of VAR in the Premier League this year. The offside rule change as well. I mean, last year Mo might have been offside for the first goal, which is weird. Like the way his arm was angled or something. We saw the amount of it. They've really mastered the use of it. We all knew there would be teething problems, and there still will be. But yeah, that is the perfect advert for it, and the Premier League's really, really becoming a better spectacle because of it.
James, I was thinking yesterday, right, mate, when Ronaldo scored that goal and it was ruled out, I was pissing myself laughing my watch along. But immediately my brain went, I wonder what James is doing at this moment in time, because I know you would have been the same, mate. It was fucking perfect. Nobody thought it was offside, and then all of a sudden it was offside.
Craig, the game shouldn't have been on Sky Sports. It should have been on Comedy Central, because nothing could have been more perfect than the sequence of how that game was conducted. Boys, you do not understand how perfect and how much of a wet dream yesterday was. We won 5 goals, conceded none, got a clean sheet. Salah got a hat-trick. Ronaldo scored an offside goal. Pogba got a red card, and this all happens inside of Old Trafford. And on the same weekend, the greatest ever midfielder to ever grace Manchester United Football Club was literally caught biting his daughter's toenails. I am not being funny. There is no way in hell we will ever get a weekend where we can laugh at Manchester United the same amount of laughs that we've been able to laugh at them this weekend. It has been brilliant, and Craig, I am here for it every weekend, baby. I swear to God, mate.
It's fucking brilliant, isn't it? I was saying it in the watch along. All this game needs now is a red card. It had everything.
Craig,
if you were,
do you know if you told me before? Do you know if you told me before, right, James? Say if you were a genie. Do you know you're a lord now, so obviously you might be able to do magical shit. I don't know. You might be able to grant wishes. I don't know, lad. You get what I'm saying? If you granted me one wish, James, how would you? What is your perfect result for Manchester United? Besides me saying 10-0 and breaking the Premier League record, it would have been that, and I don't even think I could have made it that perfect. It was too perfect.
And the thing is, people were saying, we should have gone for more. But the funny thing was, we were just we were taking a piss out of them. We were just passing the ball. We were playing keep ball. We were doing a training exercise at Old Trafford. They were flocking out like it was the end of school at half time. It was just so funny. It was. I think I actually celebrated Ronaldo's disallowed goals more than our goal.
Same.
That is how funny it was.
It was a goal at the other end.
Perfect.
All I could do was laugh. I didn't know what else to do because, as James said, it was perfect. It summed it up. It was just like tick, 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 everything that you would have wanted. Give it all to me.
You have no ink on the pen left by how many ticks that you've done by the end of that game. It was brilliant, mate. Honestly, like I said, not Sky Sports, Comedy Central. That's what that game should have been aired on.
And now, James, we get to the real sexy end of the pitch. We get to talk about the decision to play Diogo Jota, Bobby Firmino, Mohamed Salah, which again, I wonder, and I've got a theory on this, James. You and I like a theory. My theory is Kloppo's looked at the AFCON and he said, right, we drop in Diogo Jota for this game, obviously from a tactical perspective, but then I don't think Mane gets near the pitch again on Wednesday. And I think maybe he's trying to give Mane a little bit of a rest ahead of the AFCON. That's my theory anyway.
The AFCON? Oh, I hope that's not why. Don't be thinking about them bastards. They're the ones taking our Sadio away for a long time. No, I don't think it'll be that. I think it's more probably... You never know. We might just thought Preston was a more difficult game. Preston might be well drilled. No,
I love it. I just said it. I love it.
I'm not even throwing bollock shots. Listen, right. Preston might be a well-tactic side. Klopp knows. Klopp can read managers. Even though they've got good individuals, they can't play footy. They've just conceded 4 against Leicester. They conceded 2 against Atalanta, who've got nowhere near the quality we do. Maybe Preston, they're very well set out defensively. We got Ben Davies from there. We got Ben Davies from there, who was decent. We had a well set out Sepp van der Berg, who's out on loan at there now. Maybe he's just worried. Do you know what? Maybe he fears Sepp van der Berg more than he fears Harry Maguire. Which says it all. And that's why Mane was dropped, because you've got to keep him rested for the big games. He's taken the League Cup serious this year, boys. Respect to our manager.
We're winning it as well, by the way. I'm just going to put that out there. We're winning it.
Defo, the League Cup is ours.
Chris, where the fuck do we start with Mohamed Salah, mate? I mean, Klopp said it brilliantly in his post-match interview yesterday. He spoke about them writing their own footnotes in history of a club that has had tremendous achievements. But to go to Old Trafford and score a hat-trick and do it in the way that he did it, and that second goal won't get spoken about enough for how tidy a finish that was. Even, do you know what I loved as well? For his first goal, I think it was Shaw tried to grab him back and he was having none of it. He just burst to the near post, got a strike across. It's just shit of dreams, mate. It's legacy stuff.
Mate, as Muller's put in the comment, I actually took Mo Salah off my fantasy captain as well. I put Ivan Toney on my fantasy captain over Mo Salah.
Well, aren't you dumb?
I am really stupid. But yeah,
I'm not saying
you're showing your inner Alberto Moreno there.
Yeah,
that was
just bad decision making.
Villarreal moment.
Do you know what, Chris? Maybe you shouldn't be a manager. Just maybe.
But yeah, honestly, he's so clinical these days. Whenever he's through on goal, you think 9 times out of 10 he'll score. It's just, we are seeing like prime moments Mo Salah right now, to put it in FIFA terms. Like, he is at his peak. He is. I really hope he's just entering his peak and he's going to get even better. Like,
Chris,
he's elite.
This is the card on FIFA where it's like 92. Do you know when he gets a legend card in years' time?
That's
this
what
will be the
season.
season.
He's top. He's peak, mate. And that is what we are witnessing in 2021. And hopefully we'll see it for the next 3 or 4 years when he signs that new contract at Liverpool. But yeah, he's just beautiful. I just love him. It's a shame he didn't have his beard, man, because then it would be even better, because I prefer him in his beard. But you know what?
You obviously heard you were going to have a shave.
Lad. Look at him. Isn't he just amazing? He's just
Mini Mo, that's it.
Even Mini Mo is gorgeous as well. Craig just looked absolutely terrified when we started talking about FIFA then, Chris. His face was like this, like shit.
I mean, I do read for other brands and stuff, and I had to pitch one particular product, who I won't mention out of respect for Manscaped, but I had to say it's a combination of FIFA pack openings like I've ever fucking done one in my entire life. So, James, look, on Mo, the only person I think who's worried about this situation is probably John W. Henry, because every week that goes by, the man's smashing another record and there's another 10, 15 grand a week on the potential wage bill. But he earned it, mate. He earned it.
I'm running out of things to say. Do you know what I mean? I'm someone who can speak for days, Craig, but right now I am running out, my friends. I am running out like Manchester United were running out of hope minute by minute when we were just absolutely smashing them. all over that 90 minutes. Like, I do not know what else to say. He's the best player in the world right now. That's a fact. He's the best player on form. Clearly, like, I'm sorry, nobody is doing what Mohamed Salah is doing in this league. And bear in mind, everyone was writing off Liverpool before the season to not go ahead and win the league. I even had my doubts. And he could genuinely be the difference. Like, if Mo Salah got injured right now, he's that good. He could be the difference of us winning the league or not. We don't get a point against Manchester City if it weren't for Mo Salah. He doesn't just score in the small games. He scores in the big games. He scores against Atletico Madrid. He scores against Chelsea. He scores against Man City.
Every fucking game, James.
He scores in every fucking game, Chris. You know what I mean? You can name every fixture this season. He's just a joke. He's a joke in every aspect of the word. And I do not know what I would do if we did not give him that new contract, because I do not think this is just a Mo Salah for now. I think this is a Mo Salah that is only going to continue playing at this level over the course of at least the next 2 seasons. And then after that, I still think he's going to be a great player. But in terms of Mo Salah's peak, I believe we're going to see it for quite a bit to come. And he's only got... Why I love Mo Salah, he's a player with a point to prove. A man with a point to prove, and someone who, in them circumstances, that's a very dangerous man. And that's somebody who turns up to the party late, as I always like to say. Mo Salah turns up late. He weren't doing this at 20 years of age and all that business. He started basically when he came to Liverpool. And now it's about making sure that he solidifies his legacy in every way that he can by because if he does this till he's 35, he's not just one of the, if not the greatest Liverpool player of all time. He's not just one of the, if not the greatest Premier League player of all time. You put him in the conversation with the greatest that have ever graced this game if he's doing this till a certain age, because he's been doing this since, 26? And the level has been different. He's already scored more goals than Didier Drogba.
That's exactly where I was going. That's the metric for me. When I seen that yesterday... Funny. Less games. Like, we look at Didier Drogba, lads, and he's a great of the game, as strong as you like forward, a bully, a brilliant attacker. And you see that he's not only surpassed the great Didier Drogba, who's one of my favourite Premier League players of all time. I love the lad. Everything about him screamed winner. Not only has he beaten him, he's destroyed him in a lot less games. And we still have to put up with this bollocks from opposition fans trying to compare him to Hazard. He's destroying every record, lads. It's ridiculous.
This is, and that's why I want to just mention the Didier Drogba thing, because I don't think people realise just how good Didier Drogba is, and that achievement of 100 or however many goals he got in however many games, best believe that is legendary. That's a legendary record. But Mo Salah is all the more alien-like. He's doing alien-like things that nobody in the period of time that was handed to them and that was presented to them, they was not able to do that in the same amount of time. Honestly, boys, like, we do not understand how much of it. Do you know Luis Suarez, when he left? These are the type of numbers that we would have got from Luis Suarez if he was to stay at the club, because he was just that good. If we got to keep prime Luis Suarez, we were so lucky to be able to replace him, even though it was a few years later, with someone like Mo Salah, because he's just different.
Chris, again, I want to go back to this Ben Foster video that was on Facebook, but I don't know if you watched it, but one of the things Ben Foster said was that after the game, Salah went up to him, Ben, and he was interested to know, what side would you have dived to if I was going to take a penalty? Because the last 5 penalties he took, Ben Foster did his homework and knew they were all to the keeper's right-hand side. And Ben Foster said, I would have dived to my right-hand side, and Salah said, thank you. I needed to know that, smiled at him and left. Like, that's the level of detail we're dealing with this dude.
Mate, he's just different gravy, isn't he? I think he's starting to realise how good he is and now wants to get even better. Like, we've seen, I mean, I saw a stat the other day, actually. The 2-0 against Man United last time, that was his 15th goal of the season. It was in January. His goals today, the other day, was his 15th goal of the season already. This man is mental. It's crazy. And he can only get better. He will beat his 44 goal season even with AFCON if he carries on like this. And I can only see that happening because, you know, he's getting a lot of chances as well. Like, it's not like he's just taking everything. Like, he's getting a lot of chances. He's creating a lot of chances. Most assists for Liverpool this season. It's unreal numbers. It is just unbelievable. And if he doesn't win the Ballon d'Or, we riot.
Ballon d'Or. We're renaming that shit now. Look, I've got one here for you, James.
Yes.
You'll like this one, James. We score 1 goal for every toenail on Scholes' daughter's right foot. You look, Zachary, you know our sense of humour, dude. Well played.
That was the greatest father that Zachary could have spent, and that comment was absolutely right. Like, honestly, Zachary, fair play to you, mate, because that's brilliant. And he's right. He's 100% right.
Yeah, and here's another one from your mates at LFC Transfer Room. Again, I have to say, one of my favourite Twitter accounts, one of the best run Twitter accounts that there are. And,
boys.
Yeah,
I highly recommend.
Yeah, very well run. Great informative account. Salah has the most big chances created in the Premier League this season. There you go. Another one, Chris. Just when you think there are no more records, mate.
Mate, he could imagine, right? If he goes on, this could be like an Henry 03-04 season where he won the most goals and got the most assists in the league. Like, he creates so many chances as well. You saw that he set up Naby. He played that beautiful ball to Mane against Watford. He's just, there is no words, as James said. He's a man who could talk a lot more than me, and even he's speechless. Like, everyone, we're just done. There is nothing you can say. There are no words in the English language to describe Mohamed Salah. He's an alien.
Oh, there's one word, mate. Heirs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is the most important word of all of them, because it's just beautiful to see. Look, you look at the two squads and you look at what. Look, I want to get on to Klopp, lads. I want to get on to Klopp, and I'm struggling in my brain to grab all the words and fucking drag them in and put a sentence together, because, again, genius. The lads on Match of the Day. I love Ian Wright, by the way. I love him. Lads on Match of the Day talking about how well coached this team are. And we lost Buvac. We got Pep Linders. He keeps bringing it through. And these players, James, they know everything that Klopp wants them to do at every moment. He is the gift that keeps on giving. I love the man. I love him. I fucking love him.
Do you know that manager, yeah? There's just something about Jurgen Klopp, right, that you just can't quite... I don't think you're going to get this with any other manager. And here's the thing, what I'm trying to say. In terms of getting everything pinpoint perfect, even after the adversity that this team has had to overcome after last season, with the fact that there was a lot of personal issues going on in the squad last season, and then overcome that, still get third place and never give up, doubters to believers. He didn't just say it like a bollocks to him. How many managers come into a club and then say something like that, say a term, so the fans then get invested and on board? He meant every single word, and here's the reason why Jurgen Klopp is all the more legendary. He touches all the right bases in terms of keeping the cohesion of the squad great. We always say, we could do it more silence, but we're still in a title race every year. We're still in a Champions League race every year, and this must be because Jurgen Klopp just sees something that we don't. And this isn't just a man who's great for right now. I believe Jurgen Klopp is that good. I believe he's going to leave us in a good enough position, even when he leaves. Kind of like a Bill Shankly-esque, that was just going to be from the way he has built this club and the way that he's made us sort of, not self-sustainable, because that's more financial, I don't know what the word that I'm looking for is, but just it runs through the players from the academy that he's brought through, the players that he's brought in, the young players, etc. By the time it hits 2024, I just think we're going to be in a good position regardless, and I think that's what makes a world-class coach. And, Jurgen, he has got a place in my heart. He's got a place in this club for however long he needs it. Give him a lifetime contract if you must, because this manager has brought so much hope to my life, something that I didn't think I was going to see this soon. My childhood, I'm hearing all these things about how Liverpool are a great big team, and I believe it, of course, because shout out to the people who are older than me, they're letting me know, a European giant, etc. But I'm not seeing it from my own eyes, my own two eyes, even though one of them don't really work that well because bad eyesight and that. I've not been able to see us lift that much silverware. Even 2005, I'm not going to say I vividly remember that. I remember the 2006 FA Cup final much more. So when I'm seeing us lifting the Champions League, I can remember where I was. I remember what I was doing, and then the Premier League as well. That's something that I don't think any other manager would have gave us this soon, other than Jurgen Klopp.
And Chris, on top of that, what I'd like to add to what James has so eloquently put together there is that he's a man that I'm proud to have as a manager from a non-footballing perspective. He'll speak and call out the shit that people are too afraid to talk about, whether it's vaccinations, whether it's stuff, that social issues. He has a conscience, mate. He's a genuinely good human being.
I mean, we spoke about Jordan Henderson, how he's just like sound fella. Jurgen Klopp is that and more, He just makes me smile. I mean, he's over there in the corner if no one's noticed him. And that my girlfriend knows the three of us in this relationship. And I just love him so much. He is like, he feels like a surrogate father, and I think he does to everyone. Really, he's someone that you want to follow, someone you want to be. We can't speak highly enough of him. And I really, really hope he stays for longer. But if he doesn't, as James mentioned, he's going to leave the right infrastructure in place to build on and move forward.
Yeah, absolutely spot on in that one. And look, I want to have a little talk about the game coming up on Wednesday, lads. We should probably talk about this because one of the most exciting parts of a season to me, James, is getting to see the next lot of youngsters that Klopp is going to bring through and the next generation. So from your perspective, mate, who are you looking forward to seeing or who do you think we might see on Wednesday?
Well, on Wednesday, we're obviously playing Preston. That's a good level of opposition. You can't disrespect them too much. But in terms of the youngsters that I probably wouldn't mind seeing, maybe not necessarily starting this game, but Craig Houlden, I'd love to see him make an appearance because I think the very few that he has shown us, he could be one hell of a player. He's only 16 years of age. Someone that really impressed me in the second half against Norwich, that I must say with the lack of midfielders that we've got right now, Tyler Morton, top-class player, mate, and he's the captain for the under-23 squad. And I think, again, under the tutelage of Jurgen Klopp, he can be a player who can really work on his all-round game. So they're two players in particular. I probably wouldn't be too against giving Nico 45 minutes, and if he's playing bad, then maybe you bring on Trent Alexander-Arnold, just because, not necessarily because I think Nico has got a future at the club, but I still don't want him to sit there and rot, just because I don't think he's got a future at the club. I still want him to be given chances, and I would love nothing more than for him to prove me wrong, and then I just sit there in a few months' time saying I absolutely was wrong and Nico Williams is boss. And the only way you can prove that is by getting given chances. So they're probably the main ones that I would have to see. I'm pretty sure Curtis Jones is nailed on to start in this game. It'd be great for him to get more minutes. But them two in particular, Tyler Morton and Craig Houlden, are the ones that I'm most excited to see.
I'm putting my Jack Gill hat on here, Chris. I'm giving a shout to Balaghese.
Yeah,
is he a big fan?
Look, Jack's my go-to for underage stuff. I'll be the first one to say I'm a limited.
Don't take that out of context. Don't take that out of context.
Yeah, that could do me a lot of damage. Or fair play, Chris. You're looking out for me there. But yeah, look, we do watch-alongs together, actually, myself and Jack, for the League Cup games, because Jack's got great insight on the academy and the underage levels at Liverpool. But there's so many players coming through, Chris, that you could look at Musialowski, you could look at Pitaluga.
He's brilliant.
Keep going.
He's Musialowski. He's a top player, mate. That's someone I'd love to see now, but I just know it won't happen.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate. James Pearce might have some good news for you because he said that Connor Bradley, Balaghese, Musialowski, Tyler Morton and Craig Houlden were all left out of the under-23 side. So we might be seeing a bit of Mateusz Musialowski tomorrow, which would be nice. I mean, obviously, I think we'll see the backup boys coming out. Divock Origi, Taki Minamino giving his League Cup dusting off to go and score another brace and never be seen again. And yeah. I love the Carabao Cup. It's just good vibes in it. You don't really give a shit if you win or you lose, but if we win, it's great. It's just fun. And yeah, some of my favourite games, like that Lincoln game last year, was one of my favourite games because it was just so funny. Like Divock Origi scored a goal in the game of football. That's actually, isn't that the last time he scored? That was funny. I don't remember him scoring.
Origi?
Yeah.
Yeah, lad, he's done bits this season. He got an assist against AC Milan. He scored against
but he hasn't scored.
He scored against Norwich. Scored against Craig, am I wrong?
He scored against Norwich. He scored against Norwich. I'm a liar.
Hey, Origi's boss, Craig. Do you know what? Craig and Chris, I want to make a point to both of you. Origi is actually a decent striker. Like, I'm actually not. Do you know if you give him a run of games, Chris, don't pull that face. Don't pull that face. Origi is boss, lad. Didn't you see him pulling strings against AC Milan?
Pillaged. He played one over the top ball. He played one.
He never done one over the top ball at all. He was doing great passes all night. He done a through ball in that game that I remember. He was creating against Norwich as well. I thought he was one of our better players against Norwich. Honestly, I think if you give Origi a run of games, name me a time whenever you gave Origi a run of games he's done bad. Tell me.
That is true. 15
last season he was shite. But
I mean,
this
he never
season
got given a
I
run
have
of
to
games,
back up James. No, I'm coming around to backing you up. I'm saying this season I've seen a different Origi. I've seen an Origi that shows a bit more belief. I think the only thing that's ever stopped Divock is his own head. Genuinely, I think that he just doesn't believe how good he could potentially be. And I don't think we'll see that at Liverpool. I don't think he'll get the chance to break through. But I do think where he goes after Liverpool is important because I still think he has some development to do. And I think he could do a job for somebody. I really do. I just don't think it will be at Liverpool, unfortunately for him. Because
I mean, it's come 5 years too late to realise this. Come on, boys. I know he scored big goals. He scored big goals. He's a cult hero. But he's this generation's
He's not. He's a legend.
He's
a
TT
legend.
Kamara in 2021.
Stop it. Stop it now. That's so disrespect. As if he's just called him a titty. Hey, are we having this, Craig? Just called him a titty.
I mean, they're what the man's got that Pickford goal for me. He goes in legendary status just for that alone.
And it's not even that. Like, do you remember when in his, I think it was his first season at Liverpool, 16-17, when he was given a run of games, he scored against Everton, Dortmund twice, and Stoke City, like all back to back. And then Funes Mori injured him. I just think there's never been a time where if you give Origi a run of starts, he's been a bad player for us. And I understand there was the
Klopp likes him, by the way. Klopp does like it. You hear Klopp talking about how well Origi listens to information and does what is asked on the pitch. Like, look at the goal he scored from Trent's corner, against Barcelona. That was not an easy finish, James. That's good quality.
I've always said it. He's probably the only striker that we've got at the club. He's genuinely probably the only striker, and he's actually a good instinct striker. I don't know if you agree with that, but Bobby's a striker. But out a proper number 9, like not false 9, like a proper number 9, it's Origi.
You say like Origi's good with the run of games. I think for a person to be like rotational, you have to be good, not like straight away. I think Origi, and same with Minamino sometimes as well, just needs to be warm. But to bring someone on like Jota, I think is someone who's very, very good without minutes. Like he can just instinctively do something. I don't think Origi's that kind of guy. I think it's 2 or 3 years too late, but we have to stick with him.
Do you know what, Chris? I think Origi is good without a run of games. I just think he is terrible. Oh, no, sorry. He's even better when he's being given a run of games. Like, when you give him a run of games, he's probably going to score 1 a game. Like, I think he's a clinical striker. If he gets at least 2 chances in a game, he's going to score 1 of them. I'm not saying he's like a world-class finisher, but confidence comes over time, and Origi has scored some world-class number 9 finishes. So that's my point of view on Divock. I'm not trying to make out like he's world-class or this, that. He is a legend, though, and I'm not taking that back.
I'm looking forward to seeing how Minamino gets on, because like Chris, I'm intrigued to know why he got those minutes, scored his goals, and then fucking disappeared again. It's been one I've struggled to get my head around, because I know how much Klopp, how much the coaching staff, and how much the other players were impressed by Takumi Minamino when they played against him at Salzburg. I know that United inquired about him, didn't know that he had that buyout clause that Michael Edwards knew about in his contract, and he did all right at Southampton as well, Chris. So I'm intrigued.
Yeah, a real close mate of mine covered Southampton last season. We spoke to him a couple of times, and he said he scored goals but didn't do much else.
I heard that.
And, you know, it's just no one knows his best position. Like, is he a right-sided winger? Is he a centre forward? Is he an attacking midfielder? Is he a central midfielder? No one knows. It's so frustrating because
isn't that what Klopp loves, though? Isn't that what Klopp loves? The versatility.
Yeah, even so, like, you can identify players' best positions. Like Mo Salah, definite right winger. He can play up front, but he's a right winger. Where do you think Minamino's best position is? Because I don't know. And that's frustrating because he should have that figured out by the time he's 27. And it feels like he's a young player. It feels like everyone's rooting for him because we are. But the clock's ticking, man. The clock's ticking for him. I prefer him to Origi. Like, I do prefer him to Origi, but that's how it is.
Fight.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. That was a bit of a mad statement. Nah, do you know what? Last season, I was not a fan of Minamino. I'm just gonna say it straight. Like, if you watch my channel last season, I was a Minamino out all day. I saw him get bodied by under-18s at Aston Villa. That was when I checked out. I was like, yeah, this Minamino train, yeah, choo motherfuckers. I'm getting off and I'm jumping to Liverpool Central because this is not this.
You're getting on my Bellingham train yet, James?
That's it. I'm jumping on that one, the Bellingham Express, choo motherfuckers. But no,
I thought yesterday he'd have been sitting back, James, by the way, looking at that game against United, going, no fucking way I'm going near Old Trafford.
Defo, that 100%, lads. Couldn't agree more. Minamino, I don't even think it's his fault that he hasn't got a position, because I think that's more for the manager to find. I think Minamino in his head can play across all the front three, he can play in the middle, on the wings, but I just don't think he's going to get as involved as other players, and that's why I don't think he'll ever break into the first team as a mainstay, because he's not better than Salah, he's not better than Harvey Elliott, he's not better than Mane, he's not better than Jota. You know what I mean? Like, he's just there to be a squad player and bring in shirt sales. That's what I think Minamino was brought in for. Which, when you look at it from that aspect, I think it's smart business because he's massive where he comes from.
I want to get back before we finish up. One last quick thing. I want to just talk. It looks like Solskjaer is getting the boot tonight, tomorrow, whenever it might be. So, from what I've been reading, gents, it looks like Conte is going to be given the reins at United, or at least he's the preference. Now, the opinion I want from you guys is on: will the United fans accept Antonio Conte's style of football? Because let's be honest, James, they have a style of football they were spoiled with. You were talking about growing up. They were spoiled with attacking football, and we always hear about this attack philosophy. You're not going to get that with Antonio Conte, but what you will get is stability, and you will get somebody going and kicking ass and taking names.
Stability is a strong word for Antonio Conte.
Well, for the period, for the 2 years he'll be there, let's say.
Yeah.
Antonio Conte, in my opinion, is exactly what Manchester United need right now. Someone who's going to get you results. Do you see Chelsea playing the most exciting football week in, week out? They get results, but a lot of the time it can look a bit tired. They're not an attacking first team. I know they've just scored 7 against Norwich, but you don't see that happen every week. They had a difficult time against Brentford for very similar reasons. And I just think to myself, if you win trophies, nobody gives two shiny shites about how you play footy, especially Manchester United fans. Like, do you know if we lost Jurgen Klopp, say if in 2024 Jurgen Klopp wins the league and then he goes and then we get an Antonio Conte type manager and then say we go on a title race, but the football we're playing, we might have something to say. Do you know what I mean? But Manchester United fans who haven't been getting effective results for years now, and let's be honest, they haven't played great football for years, probably since Sir Alex, you know what I mean? Like, they played alright football under Louis van Gaal, just never had the players. Now, they just need to just get what they're given. I remember one time I was in primary school, probably about 7. Anyway, it was ice cream day, beautiful, mate. It was just a day where they all gave us ice creams. I am not a fan of chocolate ice cream. I don't hate people who do like chocolate ice creams, but
they're fucking suspect, mate. They are suspect.
They're a bit seedy, lad. You know what I mean? So I just did not want one. My 7-year-old self was saying that. But the teachers came round, passed everyone their ice creams. I was open for a little cheeky vanilla or a strawberry, me boys, maybe even a mixture if they were feeling spicy. And he gave me a chocolate one, and I went, miss, I'm not a big fan of the chocolate one. She paused me right there and said, James, you get what you're given. And Manchester United fans just need to get what they're given.
I love that analogy. I love it.
Craig, they need to take the chocolate ice cream.
I love it. I don't even want to add to it, mate. I just love it. And Chris, look, just one little part on this. I think people will say, is this the United board maybe reacting to the hammering that we gave them at Old Trafford, which, by the way, was 5 of our goals to fuck all of their goals. Yeah. They have to do it, man, because if they allow it to go to Spurs, Manchester City at home in the league, they could be out of a Champions League spot. Out of the race for Champions League before they know what's up. So they have to act soon.
I once again in this stream, I'm going to disagree with James. I think Antonio Conte is not what Manchester United need. I think.
I thought you were going to say you like chocolate ice cream.
I hate chocolate ice cream. People who like chocolate ice cream are weird people.
That's the real debate we should be having on Anfield agenda.
We probably had it at some point, James.
Ice cream agenda. Ice cream agenda. That's
ice cream agenda.
Let's do it, mate.
That's the second channel for you there, Craig, or the third channel.
But yeah, I don't think Antonio Conte is what they need. He's a very, very good coach. But Manchester United have a dynasty in their history of playing attacking football. He'll be in and out within 2 years. He'll fall out with the board. He'll spend money on players they don't need. Look at the amount of deadwood he left at Chelsea. I mean, there was some serious shit, like Zappacosta. Zappacosta existed. I mean, where is he now? Who knows? Is he still there? I don't know. But it's just like, I can't see it. You saw the drama he had at Inter with their owners, and in the end, he had to go.
To be fair, I back him at Inter.
Yeah,
Lukaku gone, Hakimi gone.
But yeah, it definitely. I think they should go for if they were going to go for anyone, and it's not to do with the style of football, but I would, if I was Manchester United.
Don't be giving the Conte ideas, Chris.
I know, but I would put all my money into Diego Simeone if he wanted to come to Man United. That would be that would be well, yeah, but like in terms of getting a release clause, if Man United can afford anything, they stick £50 million on the table. Who are Atletico Madrid to say no?
I didn't think there was a way I could physically hate Manchester United anymore, but I think you've
just invested. Imagine if that happened, mate. That is like prime moments. Like prime moments.
Best believe they'd love him. They'd love Diego Simeone. Over time, they'd love Diego Simeone because in terms of passion and what he brings, and even though he is also defensive first, he is a good tactical manager, so he can find a way to exploit those attacking sides, which makes his sides look attacking, or exciting, like the way he did against us. But his passion and the way, he controls, the way he is on the touchlines and shit like that. If they get a last-minute goal and he's shithousing all over the gaff, they're gonna love it.
Exactly. And he's he's like a long-term stable Conte. Like, I think Conte brings the same thing, but he's out the door within 2 years.
Do you know what, though, Chris? The reason why I am going to disagree, my friend, is because I think Chelsea's a slightly different situation because their managers don't really get past 2 years anyway. And on top of that, Inter Milan kind of bent over Conte sideways and called him Tracy because they literally sold all of their best players. Like, I am not being funny. If he goes to Manchester United, he has got heavy players. And then, do you know when Ronaldo goes 38 and shit and he's not as good no more? Still got Rashford, still got Greenwood, still got heavy young Sancho, young ballers. If you think he's not going to be able to get the best out of them young ballers, and again, it's about thinking about stages. The reason why Antonio Conte wouldn't fit Newcastle right now, for example, is because they're not competing for league titles, they haven't got the quality in their squad to do so. Wouldn't make sense. Whereas if you decide to bring in a manager to a team who have got the quality, but they haven't got the trophies in recent years, I feel like for the next 2 years, that's all they need. And then if they want to bring in another manager with a little bit more pedigree by that point, but, sort of someone who's going to play more exciting football and can still compete for trophies, I think that's the way forwards. Because right now, you're looking at a select few. I think you'd have Antonio Conte until you get the possibility of a Zidane, for example, who doesn't really want a job right now. These are the managers that I think United should look at, but it's about bridging the gap until you get there.
Yeah,
I have to say, Simeone would strike fear into me if he came to United. He would. I won't lie.
He would for me. Well, he's winning the leagues for Atletico Madrid. So if you think he couldn't do that for United, then yeah, best believe there'll be a serious opposition. Think about all the Champions League finals Atletico Madrid have got themselves to, with nowhere near the squad of Real Madrid or Barcelona. There's an element there, like Jurgen Klopp. He's not the richest team, but he can still do bits with the team.
I'll tell you what, lads, this has been a belter of a show. It's flown by. 1 hour and 6 minutes, looking up at the clock. It's absolutely flown by.
I've had a different level of energy today, but before we do wrap up though, Craig, I do just want to end it on this lovely fine note that, listen, there is not more sexy than what you're about to hear. Leeds, this season, Leeds United, 8 goals. Wolves, 9 goals. Brighton, 9 goals. Tottenham Hotspur, 9 goals. Arsenal, 10 goals. Mohamed Salah, 10 motherfucking goals.
All on his Sweeney Todd.
And it's beautiful. And that's compared to... There's more clubs there. You've got Southampton, Burnley, Norwich. There's about 10 teams that he scored more goals than. It's a joke.
Mate, that's like two... That's 2 whole Paul Scholes' daughter feet there, bro. Like, that's mental.
2 whole Paul Scholes' daughter feet, lad. Paul Scholes sucks his daughter's toes.
Chris, what have you got coming up this week with the lads on LFC Transfer Room?
He certainly hasn't got daughter sucking toes coming up, I'll tell you that for free.
I hope not. No, we've got...
I
can honestly say, lads, I've a 17-year-old daughter. Never once has it fucking entered my head to bite her toenails. Never once.
And you know what, Craig, you're a great dad for that. A great dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can only imagine if I gave her the idea and said, "Look, come over here, Daddy wants to chew on your toes, love." She's gonna kick me in the face, and rightly so.
And rightly so. Like, I really hope she'd break your teeth if you ever did that. But of course,
so do I.
I think it's even weirder that the daughter posted it on Instagram and didn't think about the implications afterwards.
So can I just say something? Right? Because it's hilarious, innit? But that could speak. Do you like the way, like, our family doesn't do nothing as mad as that? But, like, I don't know. Sometimes we'll take turns to cook. Like, that's like a little tradition. Do you know what I mean? Their tradition just could be, let's munch each other's toes. Like, honestly, because nail biting is a typical thing. If he'd done that from when she was young, it might just be natural. I'm trying to say
right. It's a stretch. It's a stretch, Hammers. It's a stretch.
Even for
buy
me,
fucking nail clippers, you miserable cunt. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great point.
But anyway, yeah.
What have we got coming up, Chris?
So yeah, I got sidetracked. We've got the watch along coming up. I'll be doing a watch along for Preston And then I'm going to the game on Saturday, which is gonna be fun. So
Nice.
be a vlog there. Might bump into James.
Oh,
Nice,
we love
Mr.
that. You're going
Evans.
to Brighton?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, say something after the game. I'll be outside the park pub. Or obviously, if you see me in the game, then say something. But defo, lads, we'll get a little bevy
do it,
or
mate.
something.
Let's do
right.
it.
There we go. And what we got coming up on James Redmond TV, sir?
What is going down in James Redmond TV town? Let me tell you now. Loads of
toenail
content
chewing?
as usual. Not that to be fair.
There are
If you do
some
want
fee
that,
freaks out there, James. There could be a market. That's all I'm
Mate.
saying, mate. It's content.
there could be, and if you do want to go and find that market, I am sure there is certain websites on the World Wide Web that you could go and find that content, believe me. Send us a private message if you want to know. However, on James Redmond TV, talking about how boss Liverpool are, talking about how funny Manchester United are in their state, just anything to do with football and more from my Scouse arse. So, tune in.
Love it. And look, ladies and gents, shout out to our sponsors again, Manscaped. Don't forget 20% off and free shipping with our discount code WFM20.
Absolutely.
And don't forget, drop a like on the video, hit the subscribe button. We're hurtling towards 125k. Hit that subscribe button. I'll be here tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and we've loads of other stuff coming up as well. Thank you to James. Thank you to Chris. Thank you to Fitz for the super chat saying if Liverpool got Solskjaer sacked, you've done us a favour. Get Scholes in. He knows how to toe the line. See what he did there? You see what he did there? I like it.
I see you.
You, sir, are legends. Lads, thank you very much. Thank you to you guys for watching. We'll see you guys soon. James, I'll talk to you on Thursday, my man. Enjoy. Don't go into work on Tuesday and not absolutely hound every one of these mank twats. Oh, it's
Please
your job.
do
It's your duty as a Liverpool fan.
As Paul Scholes would say,
watching.
you hit the nail on the head there, mate.
I love it.
Yes, no, Chris.
Over and out, ladies and gents.